Hey guys, welcome to another New World video. In today's video, I wanted to share my findings I made while testing where would be the best place to farm faction tokens. I have had a lot of requests both on Discord and on my video comments to do this video. I also have had many people telling me where they think is best, so I spent all day testing the different areas submitted. First I want to say, there are two very different ways to farm faction tokens. There is PvPing and playing to gain them, which is a lot more fun and arguably faster, but only if you're in a good group of friends who are all PvP oriented and play together regularly. And then there is the hard grind farming method, using the faction missions, which in my opinion is faster for the average player, especially the solo player. So because PvPing has way too many variables to measure, I chose to make this video about the latter, which is of course grinding using the faction missions, because this is how most of us will be grinding our faction tokens for the most part. So to begin, be sure to get yourself a bag with the loyalty perk. This will increase your total accumulation from all sources, including faction missions, but only one, as we tested in the last video because the loyalty perk does not stack. So the first zone I tested was the Great Cleave, as it seems to be the fan favorite of this group. Back before they changed everything in patch 1.1, this was the undisputed king of farming faction tokens. But is it still? We'll have to see. So for this zone, I focused on two PvP missions that do not require a set amount of enemy kills. The enemy kills mission is time consuming and is a waste of time if you are wanting to have a true token grind. The PvE missions in this zone are completely off the table in terms of efficient grind, because most of them are to kill elites in 66 areas, and if not, then they're spread all over the zone. The two PvP missions here are great though. They are super close to the settlement, and you can run over and do them and run back in no time flat. So here's a breakdown of my test runs, and for this zone I ran the missions 4 times, just so I could get the best possible time so I would have an accurate baseline. The total tokens you receive per run are roughly 1290, one mission awarding 715 and the other 575. This can vary up and down by a few tokens, but 1290 is a safe middle ground for our test. And the run took me about 4 minutes to complete once I had a nice routine going. I could not for the life of me beat that time, but the best I could do here consistently is 4 minutes per run, which still is not bad. So at 4 minutes per run, that would be 323 tokens per minute, or 19,350 tokens per hour, if you ran this like a machine with no breaks for an hour straight. Taking into account things like bathroom breaks or something, this could be of course lower. These are simply the perfect world hard grind numbers. So Great Cleave comes in strong at 19,350 tokens per hour. So it is not difficult to see why it is a crowd favorite even post 1.1. The next location I tested was Reekwater. I had very low expectations for this zone, but I thought I would give it a chance, because a few people had recommended it. For this zone, I was going to try the PvP missions, the same as the Great Cleave, but upon accepting them I noticed they were way apart, so I switched over to the PvE. This zone does offer a great PvE run that if it was consistent would easily be a contender for the best farm. The issue is though, that there are other missions that, if you get, send you all over the zone, so accepting and dropping missions till you get the ideal run wastes a lot of time. So I ended up just accepting the 3 PvE missions on offer, and ran them. I repeated this 4 times again, so I could see if it was just unlucky the first time, or if it was always going to be this way. And yes, it is always going to be this way. So the full run took 17 minutes because a few were far apart, and they were located in problematic areas. And our token yield for our time on this run was 3,140. So this works out to an average of roughly 185 tokens per minute, or 11,082 tokens per hour if you were hard grinding the zone. Not horrible, but not quite as good as expected. I want to also say it can be an unpleasant zone to grind tokens in. A lot of the Angry Earth zones and ancient areas can be a headache to try to quickly run tokens through, making for an unpleasant experience overall. The next test takes us to EdenGrove. For this zone, PvE missions were completely out of the question, because of the nature of this zone with the unpassable areas requiring you to follow paths that snake you all over the damn map, and the missions being scattered all over the place just made them not an efficient option for a pure grind. So we here like the Great Cleave, will be just considering the 2 non-kill PvP missions again in this case. The missions here offer substantially more tokens per mission than the Great Cleave. However, they do require you to run a lot farther. So I started doing them, and after 4 runs I had them down to a nice routine. I managed to get them down to a roughly 10 minutes per run consistently. If you geared specifically for this area, you potentially could get it down a couple of minutes, but the run is what slows you down more than anything. So our total per run is 2,950 tokens in this zone, so that's 295 tokens per minute, which again is not bad. But if we were to hard grind these missions, we could expect roughly 17,700 tokens per hour. A little less than the Great Cleave once again, but nothing to ignore. This is definitely a viable option if you're looking for somewhere to grind your tokens. And our final zone I wanted to test may surprise you. It is BrightWood. I know this is not a zone you would expect, but there was something here I noticed while leveling, and I thought it might be a real good spot to grind these in. So for this zone, I focused completely on PvE missions, and once again I did 4 runs to get a fair baseline, the same as I had with the rest. So the nice thing about this zone is all the PvE missions are all in a tight area around the BrightWood teleport shrine, and because when doing PvE missions, you can fast travel, I set my inn to BrightWood, and it worked out amazingly. On average, it took me roughly 4 minutes per run to complete the PvE missions here, because no running time was needed really. So it worked out to 1,915 tokens per run, which then means I was getting 478 tokens per minute, which blew me away for a low-level zone. If you set your inn in the BrightWood settlement, then accept missions and teleport over, then bang through them and in travel back, or run back to the shrine and travel back, you will average 28,000 tokens per hour, which I am not shitting you blew me away. This was by far the best place I found to farm faction tokens just because of how conveniently located the missions are in relation to the shrine location, and because everything is so low level, you pretty much 1 or 2 shot everything in your path. So guys, it would seem to me that by far BrightWood is the best option for purely grinding out tokens using the missions from the faction representative. However, Great Cleave still remains a close second, and potentially could even be better if you had the right build and could speed it up faster than 4 minutes per run. So I hope my tests and sharing my findings will help some of you who are stuck on where to farm faction tokens in this new and frankly fucking stupid faction token grind since the changes in 1.1. I had stopped even doing it completely till the recent patch sort of made it obligatory to do so. If you know of a better spot I had not tested and want to share, please do so in the comments. I know I will appreciate it, and so will others reading it. And as always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.